basically replace what was there,
Exactly.
which was working. So.
Right. Can we show the video? Yeah.
Yeah, so watch this
So
video.
this video we took. Let's see.
Keep your eye on the second car. It's in the middle lane of the street. Behind this black car.
The double parked one?
Double park car, yes.
Oh, come on.
You gotta click on it. Giving me an error here on the video. Unavailable.
Okay. Well, they'll have to
Explain what
Why
happened.
don't you tell us what happened?
that the double parked car comes. Well, you know what? You were there, so why don't you say exactly that?
We caught this on the security camera. This is one of two accidents. This actually caught on the security camera. Basically, a car was double parked, trying to drop somebody off. Somebody was coming past, and the guy opened his door, and there was a collision. Unfortunately, it's not working.
Right.
All right, good.
We can imagine that.
Yeah. It's sort of scary to think. Okay, I mean, and I think the point is, I mean, obviously that was horrible. It was somebody in their car, but it could have been a school bus. And the other day I was walking to work, and there was a double parked school bus trying to get through, and it's really scary to watch. And as I said, like, I really didn't think this was going to be a big deal, and I was very wrong.
This video.
Yes.
Is there a lot more to the presentation? Because I'm wondering if we should take kind of a strong opinion at this point.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it seems reasonable to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
Am I
I
thinking
just have
ahead?
one question of information. Can you explain how an apartment hotel differs from a normal residence that we have? You explained that your
No,
building was
sure.
more of an apartment hotel than a regular
So
regular
back,
I know this
back,
building
back in
well.
the,
Thank you.
mostly in the 30s, they're developing apartment hotels, which were kind of a combination of transit usage as well as permanent, a lot of located fares. So an apartment hotel, yeah, a bellhop, usually a restaurant, concierge, and it was a zoning category. at that
Typically,
time.
the apartments didn't have kitchens. That was
Right.
They had small kitchens that were
Or
just,
kitchenettes. So,
And the Upper West Side was filled with them
Yeah.
back in the day.
yeah, there's several of them.
So like providing sheets and towels and things like hotels,
That's
that
right,
type
yeah,
of
maid
thing.
service.
Okay.
So, I apologize, I was late. I had a school
And
thing
how,
for my
and
kid.
how is your building now like that rather
Well,
than
it still
opposed
has,
to being like a normal
many of the same amenities, but
resident?
so, just from a DOT strict definition, they changed the way they define hotels to mean something more characteristic of what you would imagine a hotel to be. So, which is 30 days or less. So even while there are people that don't live here always full time, so it meets many of the DOT definitions, it doesn't meet the DOT standard, which is why they changed the regulation.
But how is your building different from my building, which is a rental or a co-op residence, typical residence that's there now? It's the same.
No, I mean,
It's essentially
it's much the same.
That's all I wanted to
But
understand.
these artistes, exactly, they still have their multi-
and the
Yeah.
Ansoni
Yeah.
is still the same. There's a million buildings all over the
Yeah,
west side.
right, and I hope they keep their number.
Do the buildings that you mentioned, the Olcott, Mayfair, and the other side of the Dakota, do they have any loading zone, or do they have just regular on-street parking?
Dakota has it. So that,
And so people, no one's ever
And
sideswiped
the
in
other
their
two
truck.
buildings?
Mayfair doesn't, but because it's on 72nd, there are many more lanes of traffic, so it's not going to stop the traffic to 72nd.
and all
I
their
understand.
services are on 73rd. So
Right, so what we've got is, they
You have all the
like the
services
Alcott has their double things of
And
the,
the Mayfair has a cut.
and the Mayfair has a cut through, which they're, it's heavily trafficked
Can you
because there's a
finish that
garage.
thought, the double thing?
They have, like, the Alcott has, that almost looks like garage doors that they use to cart up enormous amounts of garbage and leave on our street. I mean, so we are the place where the garbage truck picks up us, the Mayfair, the Alcott, and maybe the Dakota, but I'm not positive about the Dakota. One thing I will say is, on the other day, I was going to work, and when I was trying to cross 73rd Street at Central Park West to get to the B train, the traffic had backed up so much that cars started to back onto Central Park West. And I was almost like hit by a cab, and so
That was backing up.
that was backing
This
up
is-
to,
this is-
right, like that, exactly,
That's
just
all
like
the
that.
way to Central Park West. So
Right,
this-
and that's
this
all
is
the
the
way to
intersection of
Central
Central Park West and 73rd.
I have the question of, does this designation, is it still designated as a, what's the term, a,
Originally.
so is it just regular apartments but with amenities? Are you, what's the average stay for people? Are
No,
people?
it's
moving-
not.
It's
not
not
So it's a-
co-op.
okay.
It's a co-op.
Fine.
It's like a regular
co-op.
apartment building.
It's a
That was
regular-
converted from a hotel years ago.
Got it, okay.
And they have the prettiest lobby.
Thank you.
I
You
think
should
we
support
get the
it.
idea here.
Right, okay.
So my
Somebody
take
want to
is,
Make a resolution.
could I just ask one question? My take is that if a building would rather the space in front of the building to be a no parking and a loading zone or whatever terminology, that makes total sense. Is that something we're comfortable with?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, we don't have to
At the moment,
generalize
it's
that.
just-
It's just
it's
a-
just-
Yeah.
To make that
Right.
determination. This came, we went and sought guidance from DOT, and this is kind of what they came back with.
Okay.
Apparently, this has happened before in other places, and this is how they handle situations like this.
Because I guarantee those people who like to park in front are going to come next month and give us a hard time. And I think that,
3 spots.
well, yeah, but we had that on 93rd Street. I think that the idea that we let a building say the spot in front should be no parking is a good policy. Endorse it for them and for others as well.
I think we,
It's not a case
we
by
will
case.
take
Yeah,
that
case by case, but I think it's a good
It's a
general.
very special case, I would argue.
It seems clear that an amenity's been taken away from the whole street.
Yeah.
It's affecting everybody.
Right, and in fact, what we have a petition, and I know you want to end things, but I should say,
Many, many things.
the petition also includes signatures for people who live down the street, like next door. That's not
Affecting-
just our building.
It's affecting a lot
It's
of
affecting the
people.
whole.
Let's remember, we're really talking about what's the most beneficial use of valuable curbside space. And there are many uses that could be put to it. It seems that short-term, very
This way
short-term
20 cars
in and out
instead of three.
is more, benefits more people.
Right.
Well, and it benefits everyone who's driving on the street.
Okay, as
Question.
opposed
Wait,
to
yep.
make, oh, sorry.
May I, the question I have, 'cause I know you're building well. You have a lot of people who come, they drop off their things are wheeled into the lobby.
Mhm.
How often are your tenants discommoded essentially because they can't get into their own building?
Is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there are
and
a number
especially
of elderly people. that
it's the elderly
reside-
is the most critical because obviously they're the most fragile. And then the families with small children trying
I-
to navigate, you know,
I've seen it, I just don't.
Costco and 3 kids and, yeah, so.
I think we're, is there a second?
Second.
So it will read, 47 supports the DOT restoration of a 3-car length, no standing anytime zone in front of the Park Royal, and we'll give the address. Is that all right with
No
everyone?
standing,
Say-
no
Can
parking.
we
Can we
say as
say that-
suggested by the
No
DOT?
parking.
Yeah,
Can we say that this is a
no
specific?
standing anytime, so I
No,
believe
no
what you
parking.
said.
No parking.
No parking anytime.
Can we say that we recognize that this is a special situation? Because I don't want, as you said, to have
No, I
people
think
coming back, you know,
Otherwise, we need
all
to have a
kinds of-
discussion of the
of
principle
every single,
before we go into
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Well, I think there are 2 principles here. One is for this building, we could say, I'd like to say, as requested by the building and supported by a petition of multiple people on the
Yeah,
street,
but
just
you
to
can
show that
you
there's
can still
support.
get that. I think what you have to say is that this is a very specific need.
We can
Because
say due to
of-
the unique situation on 73rd Street,
It is
between
also
Central Park
recommended.
West and Columbus Avenue.
And
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah,
wanted
it's
to
fine
say
that DOT is
recommendation to
supporting you,
DOT.
but we don't want people coming every week now to say to us, oh, us too,
Right.
you know.
DOT is suggesting that they put this.
Why not?
Yes.
Have they recommended it, or have they?
Why wouldn't we want that?
Said
If people
here's what you
identify
can apply to
traffic
do,
flow issues,
and you can go to the community board.
No, they said that, you know.
if there's
that
congestion
they-
issues,
One at a time,
It's a
please.
problem.
Measures congestion.
And then
a unique
We
situation.
can't put a hotel loading zone back, but what we think we should do is put in a no parking zone, instead to resolve the problem, so.
And they're ready to do it as soon as.
I have one question.
Yes.
When did they take away, the hotel room? When was
Come on.
June of this year?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so have you been in?
Yeah.
Why?
This is like
Does this mean a no
1925.
standing zone is painted on the curb or anything?
No, it's no sign.
It's no parking,
It's between the signs.
And it says just no parking?
Anytime.
Should we vote?
We should vote.
Call the question.
Committee and non-committee board members, 1. And that's everybody.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
You're gonna have your spare space, like
Sir.
for save the easy.
I didn't get your name, sir.
Michael Pressel, Pressel.
P-R-E-S-S-E-L-L.
1 L.
1 L.
Okay.
And you are, what's the building?
I'm with the management.
Management. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. This will get heard by the full board in the first Tuesday in December. And the full board will, it's good if you're there to answer questions.
And I was also told that there's a flyers that we need to post prior to the meeting.
Yes.
Is there any specific information?
You can call the board office and Penny Bryan, the district manager, will tell you how to do that. Did you get your USB thing?
Yes, I did.
And we can turn this off, please.
Thank you. Does anyone else sign it? Does anyone else sign it?
We'll
Are you
put
leaving?
on
Yeah, the whole execution. Do we just have to talk about it?
Yes.
Somebody need it.
It is.
When you go to the board meeting, we have the recommendation.
Amazing they caught up with the fact that.
I didn't realize it was now.
But it never passes.
If I don't like what I'm doing.
Could be.
Somebody might have called.
That's it. So okay. Okay, so on your packets here, the list of open items that we have been asking DOT for, we really want to ramp up getting these things accomplished. We have been at this for maybe a year and a half, if not a couple, as Isaac just said. Some of these are now have special situations, such as 13, I think, 13, getting the crash data from the precincts, I think is going to require some extra maneuvering because they don't really want to give us this meaningful data anyway. Rich will probably understand why.
Yeah, and I can give an update on that.
Yeah. You want to do it right now?
Happy to. Had a meeting with Russell, I forget his last name, who's chief of staff to Adonis Rodriguez, who's council member who chairs the transportation committee, and talked through the challenges with data that we've addressed a lot, such as not knowing which way cars are going and everything else. And also said just the whole process of collecting data and distributing it could be improved. Recommended as a next step that the council hold a hearing just to hear what the process currently is are. And
The council transportation committee or the full council?
Transportation committee. And he was open to doing that. So hopefully that'll be happening.
Will we be kept in the loop of when that's happening? So maybe we can testify?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Mark?
I've been trying for years to get any kind of data on the bicycles and related accidents on the bike. And he's been here a few times.
You mean Colleen from DOT?
No.
Sergeant Montgomery.
Montgomery, yeah.
And I've gone to the precinct several times to ask for information specifically, wanting to see if there's a problem with it. Because now there's mopeds, motorized vehicles now, and lots of bicycle people, which, according to the suggestion of yellow bikes for restaurant
delivery, yeah.
And I think that's where it's going to come back.
We're
We
going to
really
be
need
asking
that
both
information.
traffic officers from both precincts to come back.
So Mark, I've asked the same question.
You can never get to data.
Sergeant Montgomery, you asked her as well?
No, I spoke with folks from the 24th precinct.
Yeah.
About and asked that very same question, and they said that bicycle crashes would be reflected in the police data that's posted online.
Mixed all together. And I asked, are there many that are unreported? And their response to me was that it's negligible. There's a very small number compared to the number of motor vehicle accidents. I agree with you. It'd be great to get a complete list, but they said it's mixed in and there just aren't many.
Sergeant Montgomery, when we raised this, when she was here last, made it pretty clear that there are some sort of legal impediment for them giving these statistics out. Didn't you get that impression?
That was more enforcement than crashes.
Or
Yeah, and I've had that issue where I went to one of the precinct committee
You
meetings,
heard that, Roberta. Yeah.
and she read off a list in a public meeting, as she will do here, of the enforcement. And I asked her, could I get a copy of that? And she said, no, I can't give it to you. And I said, well, it's public. You just read it. She said, no, I can't. I happened to be in an open data meeting with Gail Brewer and with the senior person at the police department who worked at the time on open data. He's no longer there. And I asked him, just had this meeting, asked for this data. Can you tell her that it's okay to release it? And he said, you know what, have her email it to me. I'll look at it and send it to you, but just on a one-time basis. He wouldn't give a blanket.
There's legal complications involved.
But it's information that she was making public already. So
Yeah, but that's, when it comes to legal complications for data, and I've heard it on TV with the police commissioner, they just can't really just
They
give
have
that.
them. They have the information. I called a friend of mine who's a super chief downtown, and I said, "Why can't we get this information? We've been asking for a long time." He said, "The state has it all. Go to the state and ask them."
Go to the state.
Yeah.
And I think,
I think that may be the smarter thing to do, because obviously we're getting obstruction from the police department. So why don't we go around them?
The problem going to state is that it's months, if not years old. by the time
I
they
don't
get it
know.
and
I have no idea.
massage it. But
Yeah,
again,
well, and this all can come up in the hearing.
but that's not what when it said go to the state, I thought you meant to get the law changed so that you can get the
No,
information.
no, to
You
get
mean you have
the,
to get, for every time you have to go to the state?
that's what he said. I
And you
mean,
know how long that
We
takes?
talked about that. We had a conversation about
did you,
it. As far, I thought all of us as a committee,
yeah.
we talked about it's difficult to get it from the state. I know we had.
Why don't we talk to Linda Rosenthal and people like that and say, hey,
Yeah.
we're having a real
I think we ought
problem.
to ask a couple of our state elected representatives to come
I mean,
to our meeting
It can't get us any further than we are now if we don't ask.
Well, I think the next step would be to have this hearing and hear directly from the police and from the police especially, what their process is for gathering the data and what their concerns are about releasing it.
Do you have
Well,
all confidence that this meeting is gonna happen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Police work.
Can I share something just as a visitor? I recently attended a meeting with the Central Park Championship. With the Central Park young people, the ancient people, and the chief of the park was there, as well as the enforcement. So two branches, park enforcement, and they recited all the stats for bicycle accidents that had occurred within various
Where?
In the park,
periods. In Central Park.
in the park.
So they can do it.
Town North.
So if they have it, they
Did they
have
produce-
it,
did
they
they
have
produce
it.
them in
I don't know
writing?
why they won't release it. It's
No,
ridiculous.
they don't.
They don't do right.
I go to that same room. I wasn't there that.
Okay,
I go there. And they do have that data. But to get it broken out for us, for the city and such like, would require top level change. I mean, it's not nothing the precinct.
That's what, top level meaning
Chief-
Police
Chief
Plaza?
Chan,
One
yeah,
Police Plaza?
Police Plaza.
Well, that's where my
So
guy
maybe
is.
we need to ask some high city elected officials to pressure the police department to produce these
If
things.
we think it's that important. we could.
Well, we do.
We do.
because
Yeah.
That's how we know
How
how to
else
fix
do we
it.
make
Breaking out
decisions?
Stuff.
No, everything. Enforcement,
Everything.
where they're doing enforcement, what enforcement they're doing, where there are crashes,
How else do we
everything.
make
The more
decisions?
information we can get, the better.
And Mark,
Yeah, not to overlook the elephant in the room, but let's remember that Columbus Avenue is supposed to be a southbound bike lane, but we all know that it goes two ways, which is fine because it's wide enough. But now we look at Amsterdam, and that's become, and that should be a northern bound lane,
It's
but
two
of course
ways.
it's the same thing too, and it's not wide enough.
I was recently on Kent Avenue in Williamsburg, which is a two-directional bike lane.
Uh-huh.
It didn't seem appreciably wider to me than the Columbus bike lane.
Well, the reason
Anyone that knows the measurements of it, I would be real interested to know.
I do, it's because they wanted to put the struts up for the fire engines on the high buildings. That's why they made it as wide as they
I
did.
mean, on this bike lane, I don't want to get into this, not really what we're discussing, but it's two directional arrows, where ours clearly have one directional arrows. And, you know,
Well, it
Avenue,
also,
two-way street?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's against the law though, to
Yes.
go north,
So the signals are set up for two-way
Right,
traffic.
right.
Yes,
That's
that's
the problem,
Not
One-way
that,
for
not that
cars.
Makes
bicyclists
perfect
ever
sense,
paying
but
attention
also,
to the
it's
signals.
against the law to go north on the bike lane.
Anyway,
We need a special
Anyway, we have a
designation
big
for it.
list.
we have a list here, and I was starting to go through some things. I think number 14 has been taken care of, so it could be, I think, removed from this. People who have, Dan lives off the side, have told me that it's all 30-mile-per-hour signage now.
25 miles.
Excuse me, 25, right. Okay, so
We're
I
not
think,
requesting we go back to.
No, we're not. Not at all.
all.
I believe number 16 will not be done now that we're getting into this season, so that's not a high priority at the moment. I believe number 19 will be taken care of very shortly.
Can we talk about
I think
18?
19 can come off. Yes, because we know that they are doing that. I'll be right with you, Mickey.
Okay,
Number 3 requires a really special effort, and when we get our state elected positions in here, I would like to impress upon them moving on the 96th Street exit from the Henry Hudson Park Bridge
Yes.
set for southbound traffic. 95th Street,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
should
yes.
be just for
That would be a
local.
real good thing for us to get.
Really got to move on this because this is not going to be a very quick.
I was gonna,
Number
3.
3.
I was gonna add something to 96th Street. You know, I used to do mall walks a lot from my place way uptown here, George Washington Bridge, all the way to around Lincoln Center. And every time I was walking Cherry Walk, when I got to Parkwood, the only exit after 125th happens to be 25th. They block it, it's packed, even when I'm walking through.
95th is a real accident waiting to happen.
And in some instances, I got one across. I walk it.
That's good. On number 1, I think the ponding problem, I believe the has been addressed. Between Edgetown and West End has not been. The light has not been changed there. I think that ought to be a fairly high priority item. No. No, almost nothing from number 2 has been done. I keep hearing from neighborhood in the 90s that this is another accident waiting to happen. That should be done. Number 4, you know, after the tragedy of Cooper Stock, we got them to put in the daylighting and the special turn signal at 97. The daylighting apparently is gone. They've resurfaced the street. They're getting lots of calls and push to put that back as soon as possible. But what they never did was change the traffic signal at 96th and West End, so that if you make the light at 97 and speed, it does you no good to go, and you will not speed. You know you cannot make that.
Yep.
I think that is really important, and they just won't move on it.
Well, Western Avenue as a whole, can I say something? Because there's several parts of this that all impact Western Avenue. I can't tell you how many of my neighbors have stopped me or called me because they are miserable. Because what's happened with the new traffic lane and the new way people have to drive, they have a big striped area down the center. If you stand there at any time from 6:30 in the morning till 11, 12, I mean, it's just constant traffic, and people drive down the striped area.
Oh, they
And
definitely do.
they drive down like maniacs. They cut each other off. The honking and every single street up to 106th Street is blocked at rush hour. You can't turn onto West End. You can't turn off West End. It is just.
Mickey, were you here when the person who lives above West
Yes,
End?
I was here
saw
when
that
he took
video
those pics.
and-
Yeah,
and-
I see it every day, and it's a lot of there are a lot of people in that neighborhood who are musicians and artists and people who work in the theater. They like to sleep late in the morning because they've been out till 1, 2 in the morning. You can't sleep because it's all honking and noise and carrying on.
Even if you're not in the arts, you're allowed to sleep late.
I know. Every once in a while, I too have tried to sleep past 8 o'clock, and it's almost
They
impossible.
should contract priests.
They do. They call 311. They call no, nobody's.
You get the market.
Yeah, they won't come. They just won't come. will not.
Actually, they took down the signs recently, which they at least had signs honking.
And
and
then,
they took them down.
and
You
then we
see
have,
number 18?
and we have truck traffic, constant truck traffic. My husband was sitting outside in my daughter's car for 20 minutes. He got almost 100 cars on the trucks that he took pictures of within 20 minutes.
We are talking about it.
Is asking DOT, but I have promised us on the changes on West End Avenue.
So I did, about a month ago, I looked into the numbers, and what I found was that from 72 up to 106, which is what was redesigned, injuries were dramatically down for every intersection with the exception of 96 and West End, which was up.
Just that.
But I would point out that it's hard to get injured if the cars can't move. They're all sitting.
No, I actually
Yeah.
personally know somebody who's hit there.
And I have, oh, sorry, no, I didn't.
And she was seriously injured. She was partially crippled
At which intersection?
at 96.
Yeah, so I think 96 and West End is a,
And one of the major problems, and I think this is what she said, is let's say you're on the southwest corner, or on the south, or on the northwest corner, crossing north south, crossing 96th Street. You've got a leading pedestrian interval. So you start with cars that are going north on West End, making the left on the right of all of a sudden get the light, and they turn right in to the pedestrians who have gotten the LPI.
When they get the LPI, it's a ridiculous time.
Right after.
If you're going north on West End Avenue, that green arrow that allows you to make that left-hand turn is short.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 7.
And people race to make that green arrow.
So what's really needed there is a split phase. Pedestrians walk and then cars.
You have to have a pedestrian, no cars, no how phase in that
I
light.
don't think why would they engineer a left turn with a green arrow for vehicles at the same time that they have pedestrians crossing directly?
They
where
don't.
they're going to be
No,
driving?
Dan, they don't. But it's so, short.
It's so
People
short
are
that it
doing
doesn't
You're
matter.
describing, right?
People are not, it's very short, so people speed up to make it. And you know what? If they don't see anybody, they'll make it.
and there's the issue that Mickey raises, which is if there's too much traffic and that intersection is the bottleneck, then there's not enough time for them to make the turns, and you've got the conflict with pedestrians. This is actually something for us to think about if we're talking about putting more traffic onto 96th Street by redirecting the highway from 95 to 96. We're going to have that much more of an issue at 96. I think we need a much closer look.
95th is a problem for people
95th
coming
is
across.
bad.
Yeah, no,
Really, really bad.
95th is definitely bad, but 96th is a problem that needs to be addressed through.
We should address the problem on 96, but you still need that 96th Street exit because you don't want crosstown traffic on a narrow resident. You
Which
can
is
avoid it.
97th Street.
Yeah.
But you get it on
People making
99th Street,
zigzags and
you
then,
get
you
it,
know.
you get it on every westbound street.
Didn't Nelson
West End,
Yeah, they did.
they did.
There's some islands.
Some islands?
they talked about that. Yeah, I don't
Well,
remember
that's
the
number
term
9,
description.
maybe we ought to look
In
at
fact,
those.
we asked them to look into putting the islands in place.
So
DOT to look
maybe
at putting islands in
96
place
West
in
End.
Japan.
Maybe so. I mean, we should look at the Nelson Nygaard recommendations for that intersection.
This reminds me of 65th and Central Park West. I thought that was going to be the right turns into the park. The cars whip around. It's almost impossible. I mean, literally, it's almost impossible to cross this.
Yeah, it's true.
Where they go
Yeah.
down? 65th and
They're going into the traverse.
Transfer.
If you
Transverse.
transverse,
No, it's
it's
just
just-
eastbound.
it's just right eastbound. It's only one way.
Now, where's the problem with these is the traffic coming north on Central Park West? South on
Most of the
Central Park
traffic
West,
coming
or
north.
going eastbound?
Coming north. The traffic coming south, the light is red, so you shouldn't. It whips around. The light's red.
But people run the light and try to get into the park. And
Yeah.
the people coming north are
Right.
slamming on their brakes or slamming into the car that's turning. You know, it's,
There's a conflict because the people coming north have a green light and the pedestrians have a green light and they're whipping around to get into the park.
it's just not thoughtful, and nobody seems to take into consideration the pedestrian.
Yeah,
You know, and it's
I usually
I think, well, yes, because they actually have done the shortening of crossing distances on many, many intersections around. You can see that having been done.
I love the guys on bicycles who are going the wrong direction and then stop in the islands.
but they stop in the
They're
islands.
so bigger than I
What does that mean?
It's, you know, when you come across like onto West End Avenue at 97th Street, there is a pedestrian walk area, and then there's a raised area. They stand in the pedestrian walk area going the wrong way with their bicycles, so people who are trying to get through are impeded, and they're trying to get through the traffic, and the cars are going every which way. It's every day I'm out, which is most every day, and I am astonished by how bad bicycle enforcement is. They
The
go,
biggest complaint is, I'm scared, I'm not used to riding. I said, you need to, because you're gonna end up getting killed going the wrong way. Don't you see that?
I know, it's unbelievable. And
So to reiterate, numbers 2, numbers 5, numbers 2, number 4, number 18, and now we're going to, number 9, we're going to look at Nelson Nygaard recommendations for their.
I can bring it back.
Number 1, I think those are, and of course, I don't know what we have to do to get number 14 done, but DOT is really resisting that.
14 is,
No,
we crossed out.
everybody.
we crossed off the 35 miles.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean 14. I mean 12. I don't know what we have to do to get 12 done. They all say, yes, it's a great idea, but they don't do it. So
Andrew,
I think, yeah.
we talked last month. Could you email me a copy of this? Because I'd love to just give a shot at organizing it in a way that I think would be much more helpful for.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page on what we think needs to be done ASAP.
okay, so we're saying, just to go through them, you're saying 1, 2, 4, 12, 18.
12, 18. I have a question for you. Can you do a map with red flags in the areas that we're concerned about and use that as part of the presentation to DOT?
Sure.
When I send you what I'm going to send you, I'm going to highlight the numbers that we just.
Yeah, great.
But if there wasn't a map and it was more visual, some people react more to a
Rich
map.
did a map like that at some point.
I sort of vaguely
I
remember
vaguely
that.
remember.
Yeah, I mean, I've done
Yeah.
different apps. I've more done crash maps,
Well,
which,
how about this one, which just says, you know, these are our tough, you know, here are our tough spots. These are our, you know, these are our red flags. And stop people from getting hurt.
Like on
Killed
the
in,
traffic
you know,
programs where they show where the traffic is are, making them red, have a map that has these things. in
Yeah,
red,
'cause-
showing what they are.
yeah.
Sometimes people's eyes cross when they see numbers, but a map is sometimes a little more user-friendly.
What I'm envisioning is organizing these by type of request. We've got some policy things here, some enforcement, some street design changes, some priority intersections.
Timing change.
Well, yeah, and I think the more that we categorize them, and then within each category, or just for any of the ones that are priority, clear that it's priority, show the date that they were first suggested, and then on a monthly basis, ask DOT or ask all the agencies, you know, please
Some of these
update us
go
on.
back to when, believe it or not, Margaret was the Colleen for CB7. That's how
Yeah.
far back they go. We've been through 2 or 3 iterations since.
Mhm.
That's how far back some of them. So.
So,
yeah.
and Colleen seemed to think, you know, if we present this in a more digestible way, it'll be easier for her to just track it and move forward.
I will do that. I will get that to
Yeah, but
And
you
So
can-
here's,
yeah,
this is one map of crash, but
but
you could do anything.
You can play with
Yeah.
it to just red flag the
Yeah.
more hot spots.
And we've also, at times over the past few years, talked about the 10 intersections that are the highest priority. And I'd want to have those on the list and just really closely track those intersections to see, you know, what's happening and have a joint effort, get the PD to step up enforcement, get DOT to look at them and say, you know, what changes could be made. Make sure that painting is kept up to date on those intersections to the extent that painting helps, just anything we can do to really drill down on those 10 priority
That's why I
intersections.
got paint, you know, restriping and
Yep.
and put into the budget thing, because we're losing lanes and we're losing lane
Mhm.
registrations, and there's gonna be a crash.
Yep, but to the extent that we have paint, I want to make sure we're using it at the intersections that most need it.
Dan, just let me ask you before we leave this, are 10 and 15 addressed yet? I believe you brought those to our attention.
No, as far as I know, I don't know about 15. Peter Arnson really had the most to say about
15?
About 15. Yeah, I'm going to speak on
I have a quick
Yeah,
question.
look, there have been neighborhood complaints about backup in traffic, certainly from 108 going back, the traffic backs up on the service road and all the way up 107th Street, all the way up the service road back 106th and down to West End. The traffic's coming off there, and it's all with the timing of a light that's just so short there. You see 3 and 4 block backup. It's just medium level traffic, and the whole Riverside Drive is like flowing. It's very bad.
The mess at 96th Street is concerning because of the school as well.
For sure.
So my question is, can we also ask for additional crossing guards?
We have
They have them. I think they're doing it. Are they not?
You know, what I see is I'm standing on the corner and not getting out into traffic, stopping traffic. I don't, but that's their job.
No, you know,
And
we
it's the
got.
same thing at Broadway too. I know, but still, they signed up
Because
for
of
it.
that light pattern, man.
You know, we've asked for there, they have the school crossing guards, who do a certain amount with the pedestrians and just don't do any much more. They just don't, all right?
Yeah.
And their priority is to move pedestrians across the street.
But they don't even do that.
Period. There's a second part to this,
Cries out
okay?
for a camera.
There's a second part to this. That the police and Captain Laren, has said, and when they first put in the new changes in the left-hand turn at 95th Street, they had patrol officers going there because only the patrol officers could really stop the vehicles or actually stop the pedestrians if that's appropriate. The major problem in 96th and West End, it involves the right-hand turn from West End going south onto 96th Street. And there's a limited amount of time. There's an enormous amount of traffic, and that's what really backs all the way up and creates all the honking and everything like that. And there's a certain amount of time in which they can make a right-hand turn, which is the same time in which pedestrians can cross. And yes, it's school children, and there's a school guard.
You just said the right-hand turn going from West End south on.
To east on 90, to west on 96.
Okay.
To get on the highway.
Coming south and going this
Yeah.
way, but there's also
The
people
problem
coming
is,
down.
the problem there is when a school guard is there, the light turns green, stop all the traffic, and for the entire green light that's there, the flow of pedestrians coming across the schools go. What needs to be done there is you've got a certain amount of green time. There's plenty of time, if there was half that time for the pedestrians to move and half that time for the vehicles to move, there would be plenty of time for pedestrians to go safely. And there would at least be some time for the vehicles to move rather than have 1 or 2 cars go at a time when in there. But it requires the police to do it. The school guards are not able to do it.
And that's
To
the
get
same
the
issue.
police in to do it.
So you
That's
get
the same
some-
issue as the cars being backed
yeah.
up on West End.
Yeah,
Because if
they can't
pedestrians
move.
are keeping them from turning, then either the pedestrians aren't crossing or the cars aren't turning.
Well, that
Nobody's
results,
moving.
that's the major result of the backup on southbound
bad.
traffic on West End.
And the increase in injuries at that intersection.
God awful.
How about a pedestrian bridge?
You need the police there.
It's not so
I-
funny.
I'm- Yeah,
Yeah, it's not so funny.
I believe the signal at 77 in Columbus has been changed. And they can change it by time of day, so during school hours, they have to change that. That's one thing. As far as the signage, they have agreed to do it, they just haven't done it yet, that I'm aware of. And I'm talking about on Columbus, north of 77th, between 79th, 78th, 77 is where they should have the school zone signs.
back to number 10. As part of that, I would put a sign at 97th Street onto the service road, local traffic only, because we don't want to increase the number of cars that go onto the service road knowing that they can get out at 104 or 108. I'm worried that
I'll defer to someone who lives in that area.
They haven't been able to for 15 years. except with illegal turns, which they do.
So what you're
Incorrect.
saying
On
is
104,
signage
they
doesn't make a
used to be able to make a U-turn. And they put up new signs. But if we're, and they frequently do make that illegal turn. I'm worried that if we're encouraging that illegal turn, or if we make that turn legal, there might be that many more cars trying out the service road, which is something we don't want to encourage.
That's one of the things that we're going to talk about when we get the 2-4 here, which we are trying to do for the next meeting.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, Omar?
Oh, I noticed in the agenda, after the discussion here, it says there's a provision on discussing the changes will be next Monday.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Yep. And by the way, Jason and I are both here.
I see you. It's great. Ken?
Yeah.
I'm just concerned that the problems, 96 in West End is, it's the anomaly on West End Avenue. And we all agree that it's a crash waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And it already has happened. So I'm concerned it's going to get lost.
It's not going to get wrong.
So what are we going to do like today to move the ball forward?
We are going to distribute Nelson Nygaard's proposals for that intersection to everybody. And we're going to tell DOT, who I assume will be at the next meeting because it'll be a normally scheduled meeting date, that we want action on some of these right away, that these are.
But how about breaking out 96 in West End and saying, we want to hear DOT's ideas?
Yeah.
It would have to be 95th and 96, Ken, for it to work properly.
Can it there been more accidents, pedestrians?
Well, Rich was just saying it's the one intersection where crashes have gone up.
And what did you say, Ken, that we have to do to request a camera in a what is a school zone there? What would we have to do? Who would have
Speed camera.
Well, speed camera, I would say, because that's probably easier.
As far as I know, they've all been deployed, but I guess.
You have to talk to city council.
And is that still Helen's district? Is that Martin Bean? 96th and West End.
It's Helen.
It's Helen.
I think that point is still.
Okay. We got to get one there. That's the prime place for a speed camera in our district anyway, I would think. That's the place where most accidents are happening.
Well, but it seems like it's not so much
speeding accidents,
speeding.
or is that the cause?
Is
so
a
it
red
makes
light
sense
camera
to
harder
put-
to get than a speed?
I think we're allowed about the same numbers.
But there's also an issue with cars parked, like cop cars parked under the roadway.
Not much.
Well, that's up on the highway.
One of those kinds of cameras is operable all the time, and one of them is not. Is that correct?
The speed camera only,
School.
is only
That's-
school hours.
And I think we need a red light camera there then.
Yeah.
And I think we should also talk to our state.
Yeah, we should
people
push.
And tell them we like to have a little more control over where New York City places.
When we get them here, we have at least two issues to talk to them about, Henry Hudson and the crash stats in a timely manner. We'll add that to it for
Well, as
sure.
I understand it, the city does have the ability to place anywhere it wants. It's just a number that it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I actually spoke with Assemblymember O'Donnell about this recently. He said that the head of the Transportation Committee for the Assembly is from Rochester. He's just opposed to cameras because he feels it's a regressive tax, and that it's unfair to poorer people because they're charged the same amount as wealthier people.
Regressive.
Regressive.
It's in as far as it may prevent accidents if people understand that they're being watched there. It's not a tax, it's a safety measure.
Yeah, it's not.
You're preaching to the converted.
No, the issue of, I agree with you
Sounds
on
like a
that.
Tea Party
At the
guy.
same time, the issue of
Former Black
regressive
Panthers, I
taxes,
understand.
that a
And
speeding
it's
fine with a
a
camera,
racial economic issue.
Really?
Yeah.
All right,
a speeding fine with a camera is a $50 fine that goes there. So that to someone to whom $50 is a lot of money, it's a regressive tax because they're going to be out of money, quite a bit of money.
It's a regressive charge. It's not really a tax.
Charge, but a little bit, charge, fine. And to somebody with very deep pockets to whom $50 is pocket change, it's not gonna stop them from speeding at all, because they don't get any points on
Finland
their license or anything.
assesses fines as a percentage of your income. I got a speeding ticket for $150,000. Yeah, there's an idea.
Yeah,
Well, what about points on your license
I
then?
like that.
I mean, doesn't that
Yeah,
make more
that's the
sense?
same thing.
we should
for
propose that to Camp. He's
Call
the
the
guy in
question.
Rochester.
Well, points
This
on
is
your
another
license make more
instance where
sense.
people from Buffalo and Binghamton are telling us what we should and shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Same
some
with
of the-
transit service funding and
Yeah.
and things like this. It's just,
It's frustrating.
They don't have to put it in their ticket, because I didn't know.
yeah, okay, so I think we'll separate 96 and West End from the rest, and I think we've got the order, and I'll send this to you, Rich, and you can put it in the
Yeah, great.
types of
Yeah.
requests we're asking. We'll get DOT's plan for 96 and West End and tell them
Mhm.
this is something that we're not sitting on, that you've got to move this really quickly. All right, are we done on this for now? Okay, number 3 will be really quick. We have several wonderful things happening next Monday in our transit system. One of them, several of them are prior to the opening of Second Avenue, which we hope will happen by the end of the year. Might go a little further, but the W train returns to the system next Monday from Maria to Whitehall Street. The queue will be cut back to 57th Street at all times until it will go up Second Avenue. And very interestingly, the overnight R-Train shuttle, which is currently between 95th Street and Bay Ridge and only 36th Street and 4th Avenue in Brooklyn, will actually be extended all the way to Whitehall Street. So those folks who use that in the middle of the night, who should have had at least service to Atlantic Parkway, so you could change to a lot of trains, will actually have that option plus more. It will go to Whitehall Street. So it goes just to 36th Street, Brooklyn.
Tomorrow night will be the
36th
last night though.
Yeah.
And in addition to this, and service will finally be express in Manhattan on weekdays. I've been wanting that for a long time.
It will stop at 49th Street.
Yes, but the point being that it will skip 28th, 23rd, 8th Street, NYU, and Prince Street.
Prince Street, yeah.
The point is, the end of the R should not be soulmates.
Why do I think you might live out along the R train in Brooklyn?
No, I live uptown in the Heights. I've been to so many fences I was 4.
In addition, I really asked them to improve the 4th Avenue local service, and while they're not able to do that this time, what they have guaranteed me is that on the origin and destination runs that the W makes to start its run to and from the Coney Island Yard, they will put it in revenue service, so that will be additional service between Coney Island and Whitehall Street, so that's great.
Tell us a little bit about the Second Avenue.
Yeah, it's supposed to open, well, the governor is really pushing and the MTA is committing humongous resources to get it done by the end of the year. There are some problems at 72nd Street Station with the escalators, and they don't want to open 86th and 96th and not open 72nd, so they're working overtime to get it done.
Basically,
It's all done.
Are they all
Test trains have run already. Yeah.
Are they all escalators all the way up there?
In every station, of course, these are deep stations. Oh, it's any new station is going to be AD accessible, believe me.
Yeah, it has to under federal law.
Jason?
I have here a picture of Kay Hines' Twitter. She reported 6 days ago a water problem at 81st Street.
What?
Water problem.
81st Street and 2nd Avenue?
81st Street and on the Central Park West.
Using that
Line.
station.
That was
Yeah,
days-
in the subway station.
That was days ago. The service is normal now.
Someone's, is everything resolved?
Yeah. Got a water problem at 88th and Central Park West too, where the exit turnstile, you would wade through water to get out, but that's been fixed too.
Kay needs a refresher. So the zoning was originally introduced in 2001. Because originally there was a service change back in the 80s when the B&D was split in two, with the Brooklyn routes going up Broadway. That it was so confusing because they were also called B&D. So this time around, they introduced another Q chain service, a Diamond, which is only temporary, on Grand Express, plus the W, which ran where the D was now originally replaced the B, because the B and the B was swapped in Brooklyn. And then in 2004, we got the more or less the current service with W service as just weekday service to Whitehall, and that was until
2010. In 2010, the famous service cuts when Governor Patterson took money that was earmarked for MTA Treasury, which is also the biggest service cuts since anybody's been watching.
Except the 104 bus on Broadway.
Yes, that's something that
I have to
everybody
tell you,
wants back.
Last night, And this is the bus that was supposed to be at my stop at about 7:14. The next bus, 27 minutes late. 27 minutes.
I have to tell you, traffic
Well,
is
that-
really terrible. Buses are not.
27 minutes, the M7, I was uptown.
Yeah.
And the M7 did not run. I didn't even catch the cab after waiting 40 minutes.
I have bus checker, which is usually a good, on my phone, it's usually very accurate.
Traffic is
But
unreasonable.
this happens
That's why bus
every
ridership is
Wednesday.
declining.
Every Wednesday I take that bus at 7:15. And this is 7:15, so no big deal because I would have been early where I was going, but 27 minutes.
But
to
that raises the
bus.
general point of communication. I have an anecdote too.
that's-
I was on the E train and I was on it for 90 minutes on Wednesday. And
From where to where?
I understand it was before Forest Hills, between Queens Plaza and whatever. My problem is the equipment it's just equipment. It could break down, but they don't communicate. If they had just said this is a really long delay, you might want to consider taking a bus or walking or taking a cab. But there's no communication. Then the
You
local
weren't stuck between stations.
there was most of the time we were in a station, but we were going between stations very slow. And then there was a station, then the local came in. So I got on the local, and the local sat there, and the train I was on pulled out. So then another express train came, so I got on the express train, and then the local came. They need to communicate. That's
smiling.
Well,
He wasn't smiling that day.
I wasn't smiling then, but
You should, this is no,
but
this
it's
is
not
a very
like
big
absolute-
deal.
But Howard-
You're having, we had it right here in 96, people to 1 and 2. For the last couple of weeks, it's been like that.
This won't make you feel a whole lot better, but one of the largest items in the next capital program is the installation of communications-based train control on the Queens Boulevard line. They are doing it on the 7 line now, and this
But
means
even
more throughput.
informally, if the motorman could have just said this is a serious breakdown, you might want to consider.
The conductor should have said
Yes.
something to them. And if you were on an
There was something we
E-train,
were reporting about train
if you were
traffic.
on an E-train, you were on R160 equipment, and they have the newest, most clear
But my point
PA
is,
system of any of the cars.
Do they always even tell the motorman and the conductor?
They know exactly what's going on.
They got walkie-talkie.
They
but my
have
point
radio.
is, guys, every week, there's that gap. It's usually 23 minutes. Yesterday was 27.
Tell me when this gap is.
It's from 7:14 at 100th Street. And
PM, AM,
PM, southbound,
southbound M104.
and 104. And then it's usually 23 minutes till the next bus.
Are they
And
changing shifts ahead?
I don't know, but
I
because
suspect
I
that
go to chorus practice at 7:45, a little further south. So I get on the bus at 7:14, I'm good. If I miss that bus, I have to wait 23 minutes.
I suspect that buses coming from downtown from the PM rush are late getting to 129th in Amsterdam, and so they may short term.
They sit up at 106, a lot of them. And
That's why they're
it's not-
splitting the M5, because it didn't make it to its whole route, and they have to short term.
I don't know what the story
Anyway,
is, but this is their schedule. This isn't, like you got stuck because of, this is their schedule.
That's
Yeah,
not a
that's,
schedule.
This is their
this was
schedule.
not, the
That
90
gap
minutes
is not
was
a
not
schedule.
It has been for the last year.
Then sit in and stuff.
So,
Every
Governor
week.
Harrison is most responsible for what happened 6 years ago, on my graduation day.
Governor Cuomo has done the same thing on one time.
One time, you made a turnaround, so I'm not gonna.
Are we almost done?
But Governor Harrison, he's like, you are Christian.
Yeah, then he was put on the MTA board. How do you like that?
Right.
What is
So,
that? She belongs in prison.
we have, can we have some quiet ones? We have some, as a result of our discussions tonight, we're gonna be getting the 24th traffic folks and the 20th precinct traffic folks again. We're gonna be getting our state elected officials here to talk about 3 different issues. Does anybody have any other suggestions for future agendas? We're gonna get DOT here to hear some of these things in person. We're gonna move up 96th and West End. We're gonna get the Nelson Nygaard 96th Street plan distributed to everybody in advance of the next meeting.
I just have one suggestion. Because I leave early in the morning. It is really, I know they worked on 96, that turn signal coming from.
Northbound Broadway to westbound
Right,
96.
they make the left going toward West Side Highway. That turn signal is off.
It's often everybody and their mother's crossing
It is.
despite what the signal says.
Right.
So
They gotta do a better
I know.
job.
Expect-
When you say it's off, you mean it's not functioning? It's too
It's-
short?
Timing
the
is
timing's
off.
wrong,
It's
yeah,
off.
yeah.
it's too short for the turn or it's too long for allowing drivers to turn?
It's too short.
It's too short.
At least I think it's too
Yeah.
short.
And they need to have a much clearer sign for pedestrians. It's an accident waiting to happen
Every
early
day.
in the morning.
Every
I don't know about in the afternoon because I don't come that way.
I'm there in the
You're
afternoon.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I live at 98
So you
West
know what I'm
Side, so
talking
I'm
about.
back
It's
and
like,
forth all the time.
they need to do a much better
So you
job.
said, when you make the left-hand turn, and the pedestrians are coming across 26?
Yeah, because it's just packed. It's just packed with people.
There's so many
And I don't
people
know
who
if the
take that
drivers can
subway.
see the turn signal. The turn signal is too short. You know, people are blowing the horn.
And,
You know.
and nobody pays attention to the don't walk, so they get right out, because the minute the traffic stops, even though it's just waiting for the turn signal, everybody starts
The
flooding
only
across
time
the
that it
street.
kind of runs a little bit smooth, and I know they can't do it all the time, is when they have an officer there.
Yeah, which is once in a blue moon.
And once in a
By the way,
while.
Penny tells me that there is a slew of newsstand applications coming for the
Oh,
Lincoln Square area on Broadway, some of which DOT agreed should not, a place where they should not be, so we'll see
did
what
we ever
happens
get
with
a new
those.
stand removed because it's a
We
problem?
did it once. We were kids then.
Penny also tells me at many people's complaints, including mine with photos, that sanitation is starting to remove those really non-functional recycling cans. They are just terrible.
Well,
They are allowing people in, everything is contaminated, so it's worthless. What did it accomplish? And the port store owner has to clean up after the people going into, they're no good sign recycling. Also, I have complained again about open lamppost bases, and they're all over the place. If you see one, please email it, because that's a real danger to animals and people
See
with
one
metal
what?
tip
I
cans.
missed that. What are we supposed to say?
You had asked for topic ideas for future meetings.
Yeah.
Number one on my list is that the north-south corridor that's by far the most, has the most injuries is Broadway. We need a real close look at Broadway to see. Well, then we shouldn't bother. I mean,
No, I mean, you have a suggestion that we have a.
well, but I think we have
We've
to,
never gotten, it's the most obvious thing, we've asked for it many times before. The signs limiting going through when you make a left-hand turn.
But do we know that's really the problem?
That's a big problem.
I think it's important, it's a big problem with that, anywhere there's a big left-hand turn, there are close traffic, there are problems. Anywhere where
They don't wait for the
that's
red.
happened, where people are going through, half the time you're permitted to go through, but you can't see because we've done such a great job.
Police weren't even sure that
Good.
you weren't
So-
allowed to.
There's no reason to just not stop traffic at that segment.
so I would suggest, I mean, there are lots of ideas we could talk about. I would suggest having a meeting where it's the main focus, inviting the community, publicizing it far in advance, getting feedback from the community about what Broadway, you know, what the issues are on Broadway and what Broadway could be, and really making it a major priority for the committee for the next year to look at Broadway and think about what we should be doing about Broadway, just on a holistic level
That's a
in
great
terms of
I'm not so sure it's local traffic. I think it's people going on.
all questions we should be asking. And I think there are a lot of questions, a lot of ideas that we should be thinking about, hearing about, getting input on. And but something needs to be done. I don't have the answer, but I think we all know it's a top priority. So I think that's one idea.
Where most of the people are.
Another is just the general topic of enforcement. And you know, we throw around bits and pieces here and there. I think it should be tied to the top priority of reducing injuries, and think about just with the very enforcement, you know, what are the constraints? One is the issue that they can't really enforce speed limits. And I think that's a major issue that we've talked about a bit, but we need to really keep the pressure on. And we need to
I think
to
enforcement
work.
of double parked commercial vehicles where they shouldn't be is a top priority.
Enforcement of trucks on West End Avenue, right?
That goes the whole
Unbelievable.
thing.
You're all right.
That
I
goes the
know,
whole
but
thing. Parking.
But they don't pay any.
And loading zone.
The reason that
It's
cars
just
are
the
double
Wild
parking
West.
is they have no place to park.
I'm not talking about cars.
Truck.
Right.
Yeah, but
We've given them all these Lord Amsterdam loading zones and they're
How
still
about
double
Central
parked.
Park
Do that,
West?
they don't have to move.
yeah, and
That's a separate.
in bringing up these ideas, I'm not expecting we talk to them tonight. I think that each one could be its own meeting where we publicize it, invite the community. I think with enforcement, we need to really hear from the precincts and understand their just overall assessment, which is a combination of enforcing crime and traffic. And I think makes it so that they're more concerned about policing the neighborhood than enforcing traffic laws unless they happen to see them. And because of that, we have more.
I think they have a contingent dedicated large enough.
Well, let's hear from them. The ride along I did, it was a zone defense where they're breaking up the precinct into zones, and each squad car just enforces its zone for anything from crime to traffic issues to anything else. And it means that they're doing their drive around, just having a presence in the community, but it's not necessarily the most effective.
But they don't do any enforcement.
Are they still doing it?
They don't do any enforcement. They absolutely don't. There was a cop car
But
in
that's
front of my building, and there were trucks back and forth, and I knocked on the cop car and said, could you guys do something about these trucks? And they said no.
Yeah.
You're a truthful answer.
I know.
Trust me, sir.
Are they still doing it?
Well, it's actually it's sort of along the same lines. What you're saying about the and I'm sure some of the items that you're making are actually questionable, but I will tell you that the electric bicycle, the road are have more feelings, more. We have a new influx of bikes going up,
Yes.
They're illegal, those bikes.
So-
They're not used now.
It just seemed to me that as I walk by endless restaurants, that there would be some simple way to bring in some kind of enforcement officer to approach the owner of those stores and ticket them, because you can easily see people in and out of these restaurants all the time. So I'm sure you guys have looked at this and discussed this.
Actually,
So Matthew,
let me just say one thing quickly, Rich. This is an issue that I would like to talk about jointly with BCI, because
Business affairs.
I think restaurants and/or stores that are knowingly utilizing electric bikes when it's clear they're illegal, maybe they are not to be patronized. Maybe there ought to be.
Yeah.
If I could just add one thing,
Sure.
I have been informal survey of non-electrical bicycle delivery guys who are as disenfranchised as people. I'm asked that by you fear with like your own safety relative to speed, it's somewhat of a question. I will tell you, I think, from the perspective of those relatives, it's really tough. I will tell you culturally, I don't want anyone to suggest that I've done a perfect bicycle commuter. I've completed it once, and I will tell you there is with the expand program. It seems there should be an enforcement element as part of the income that they take in to essentially instruct them, because the lack of stability, which is a very common theme here, I think it's just going to get tougher as we get along.
Is the non-electric using delivery people, are they afraid because of the speed of the electric bikes or the silence of them?
So could I just say, like, I think the topic we're discussing right now is topics for future meetings, and I totally agree with you, Matthew. And you're actually bringing up the next topic that I have in mind. So number one, Broadway. Number two, enforcement, where we talk through these issues, and the electric bikes would be part of it. Number three is I think we should have a dedicated meeting talking about the issue with messengers. And there are a number of issues to it, ranging from these guys are barely making any money, and they're basically economically forced to do what they're doing. But
Yeah.
well, so let's have a meeting with Jess and just talk through the issues.
Great.
And yeah, I think it's a lot of the same people who expect their food to show up instantly when they hang up the phone, who are the most, who are the loudest complainers about the bikes not following the rules.
All of them illegal.
Ken? Or Dan, your hand was up, I guess. Sort of down. So.
Two things. There's been southbound through our district, basically, with the changes over the last years that DOT has made on West End Avenue, on Broadway, and Columbus. Basically, all three of those streets basically are not able to handle the throughput and traffic changes. Certainly in the 90s, the 100s, they simply don't function. And any one of them might, and as they begin to function badly, the traffic moves to another route. And it's gotten to the point where none of them work very well during those times. And we should call upon DOT to rectify that.
Do you think it moves better northbound than southbound?
No, it's the
Because Amsterdam is a constant clog now.
And so is
And I think some of them have moved
So
to
is-
Broad.
So is Columbus, so is Broadway.
Southbound kind of came first because of the turn in 96th Street. First it was the change in Columbus Avenue, and then it was changed in West End.
Is the fact that people drive through our streets with paying tolls. So they won't have truck traffic coming
North on Amsterdam.
north on
For
Amsterdam,
sure.
maybe also on Broadway,
Yeah.
to avoid paying tolls. And maybe we have to put pressure at the meeting with the local elected on having, that they're actually doing.
I think a lot of it is local traffic though, because a lot of it,
Not northbound on Amsterdam. That's
North,
traffic
no,
from the tunnel.
yeah, First Avenue and Amsterdam,
I
they're the
raised the
same,
issue
they're just like
maybe with,
major thoroughfares out of the city.
I raised the issue with Congressman Nadler and with, like Brad Hoyle, State Senator Hoylman, and others about what kind of incentive it would take, and would they speak to their Jersey counterparts, or maybe we should talk to someone at the Port Authority about a toll incentive for trucks that are going north from the town to not use our local streets, to use a tunnel or something, and have a toll incentive to avoid going all the way north on Amsterdam Avenue through Upper West Side, Harlem, Washington Heights, and over the bridge.
It's First Avenue too, if you're on the east side of it, it's the same problem.
Really?
Yeah, it's just as bad.
Second line for future is that just to keep it real general in this week, we should have parking. And that certainly affects the need for loading zones, the need for parking, the need for places for people to put vehicles.
Parking permits.
Whether it be off-street parking or, yeah.
There should be more parking spaces in buildings that are being
What side
developed.
should I noticed on that slide that the photos from Park Royal were showing us, there were Connecticut plates, there were Jersey plates on that block. Did you notice that?
Well, that was almost exactly what I was going to propose.
But from a different
From
viewpoint.
a different viewpoint, we should talk about the management of curbside space. What's the best use of curbside space? We need more loading zones, we need more things like Royal was asking for. What would help our streets to function better?
Parking.
So, and is what we currently have most of it devoted to, which is long-term storage of baggage vehicles. Is that the best use? I think we should have what Rich is talking about, a big community session where we try to tackle these issues.
Isn't that the same thing as parking?
What?
Isn't that the same thing as parking? It's the use of curbside space.
I thought Dan was sort of talking about from the standpoint of parking supply, and do we have enough, and off-street parking.
Well, then there's every.
I think
So
it's
it's-
it's together. I don't think it's one way or another.
Right, it's curbside space.
Right.
Also bike shares.
So are you proposing,
curbside
is everybody
space is
proposing
not
that we
the
hold
only
this meeting
place
at the
part of
Javits
it.
Center? That's what it would take.
It's not the only place. There are lots of ways to do
And
it.
it would be an all-day
It would
affair.
be a giant,
We've
it would be
built
such a turnout.
curbs.
Maybe we could break
That's
it
it.
down.
And we.
It would still be
and
all
we're knocking
day.
down the
Anyway,
buildings where we
I
do
think
it
we've got a great
Okay.
list here,
Yes.
and thank you all,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
Are you on that?
Yeah, it's just a matter of evenings. I've gone a few times. It's just with the family.